Have you ever felt like no matter what you achieve, it's never enough, like you're always chasing the next thing, more money, more recognition, more security, but the finish line keeps moving? If you have, you're not alone. Most people spend their entire lives running towards something, believing that once they get there, they'll finally feel at peace. But let me ask you, how often does that actually happen? How often do you get what you wanted only to realize it wasn't as fulfilling as you thought? See, the problem isn't that you're not working hard enough. The problem is that you're running on a treadmill without realizing it. And the faster you go, the more exhausted you become without ever arriving. In this speech, I'm going to challenge everything you've been taught about success, happiness, and fulfillment. I'm going to show you why the things you're chasing will never set you free and what will. This isn't about giving up on your goals. It's about breaking free from the illusion that something out there will finally make you whole. Real power isn't found in having more, it's found in needing less. By the time we're done, you'll have a choice: keep chasing the dream you were sold, or step off the treadmill and claim something better, real freedom. Stay with me, because this could change everything. Most people spend their whole lives believing a lie, that once they reach a certain level of success, they'll finally feel complete. If I just get that promotion, if I just find the right partner, if I just make more money, then I'll be happy. But have you ever noticed that no matter how much you achieve, there's always something else? One more goal, one more thing to prove. That's because the chase itself is the problem. It keeps you locked in a cycle where happiness is always just out of reach. And here's the truth no one tells you: no external achievement will ever create lasting peace inside you. Not money, not recognition, not a perfect relationship. Because as long as your happiness depends on something outside of you, you'll always be at its mercy. So let me ask you, are you really chasing success? Or are you just running from the fear of not being enough? Because if your self-worth is tied to what you achieve, you'll never be free. It's time to step back and question and is it even true? Imagine running toward a finish line that keeps moving. No matter how fast you go, you never quite reach it. That's what life feels like when you're constantly chasing something to make you feel whole. You get the job, but now you want a higher title. You buy the house, but now you want a bigger one. You find love, but now you need constant reassurance. The moment you reach one goal, a new one appears and you're back to running. This is the treadmill of need. And here's the worst part: society convinces you that this is normal. That if you're not chasing, you're falling behind. That if you're not striving for more, you're failing. But the truth is, as long as you're running on this treadmill, you'll never feel at peace. Because peace doesn't come from reaching the next level, it comes from stepping off the treadmill completely. So I'll ask you again, are you running something real or just running in place? Let's flip the script. What if instead of chasing, you stop needing? What if you no longer had to prove yourself, seek approval, or accumulate more just to feel like you matter? Think about it. The moment you stop needing something, you become free. If you're no longer desperate for validation, no one's opinion can control you. If you're not attached to material things, you can't be shaken when they're taken away. If you stop seeking approval, you stop being a puppet to other people's expectations. That's real power. Not in having more, but in being free from the need for more. And the irony, when you no longer need something to be happy, that's when you can truly enjoy it. You're no longer grasping, no longer afraid of losing it. So here's the question: what are you still clinging that's keeping you stuck? Well, what happened if you let it go? Now, some people hear the word detachment and think it means not caring. But that's not it at all. Detachment isn't about walking away from life, it's about walking through life without being owned by it. See, when you're attached, you suffer. You get the job, but now you stress about keeping it. You fall in love, but now you live in fear of losing them. You gain wealth, but now you obsess over protecting it. Detachment doesn't mean you stop working hard or loving deeply. It means you do those things without being controlled by the outcome. You give your best without desperation. You love fully without fear. You engage with life, but you are not enslaved by it. And that right there is real strength. Because when you stop clinging, nothing can break you. Since childhood, you've been told a story about success. Get good grades, go to college, land a stable job, buy a house, build wealth. And if you do all that, you'll be happy. But let me ask you, who told you that? Your parents. They were just repeating what they were told. Society, it benefits from keeping you chasing. Companies, they profit when you believe you need more. You've been sold a dream that keeps you in the cycle of wanting. And most people never stop to question it. They follow the script, thinking they're making independent choices when in reality they're just playing a role written by someone else. So today I challenge you, is the life you're chasing even the one you truly want? Or is it just the one you were told you should want? A lion in a cage may be safe. It may be fed every day, but it's still in a cage. And here's the scary part. If it stays in that cage long enough, it forgets it was ever meant to be free. Now look at your own life. You may have a stable job, a nice home, a comfortable routine. But does that mean you're free? Or have you just built a more luxurious version of captivity? Because real freedom isn't about being comfortable, it's about being in control of your own life. It's about knowing that if everything you depended on disappeared tomorrow, you'd still be standing. So here's the final question: are you truly free? Or just living in a cage that feels safe? And if it's the latter, are you willing to step out and claim something greater? Because the door has always been open, you just have to walk through it. Every single day, billions of dollars are spent to make you feel like you're missing something. Advertisers don't sell products, they sell insecurity. They convince you that you're not enough as you are. That happiness is just one purchase away. That if you wear the right clothes, drive the right car, or own the latest gadget, you'll finally feel complete. And if that wasn't enough, social media has taken this game to another level. Now, it's not just companies selling to you, it's everyone. Your friends, influencers, celebrities, after celebrities. Every post is carefully curated to show the best moments, the highlights, the illusion of a perfect life. And what does that do? It makes you compare. It makes you feel like you're falling behind. Let me tell you the harsh truth. This is by design. The more insecure you feel, the more you chase. The more you chase, the more you spin. And the more you spin, the more trapped you become in the cycle. But here's the good news. Once you see the game, you can stop playing it. You don't have to measure your life by likes, followers, or possessions. You don't have to let someone else define what success looks like for you. The moment you recognize the manipulation, you take back control. And when you take back control, you stop being a puppet. Let's get real. Wanting more isn't the problem. The problem is needing more, because the more you need, the easier you are to control. Think about it. If you desperately need your boss's approval, do anything to keep your job, even if it means sacrificing your time, or your dignity, or your dreams. If you crave status, you'll waste your energy chasing things that don't actually make you happy. If you constantly seek validation, you'll let other people's opinions dictate how you live. Do you see the trap? The moment someone knows what you need, they have power over you. Companies, employers, even the people around you, if they know you're hungry for recognition, security, or approval, they can pull your strings. But here's the flip side. When you stop craving, you stop being controlled. When you no longer need a certain lifestyle, no one can manipulate you into chasing it. When you stop seeking approval, no one can use your insecurities against you. That's real freedom. Not in having more, but in no longer needing more. Because the person who needs the least, they are the hardest to break. Let's stop sugarcoating this. If you need external things to feel whole, you're handing over your power. Neediness is not just a minor flaw. It is weakness in its rawest form. It makes you dependent. It makes you predictable. And worst of all, it makes you easy to manipulate. Think about the strongest people you know. Are they the ones begging for attention? Are they the ones clinging to money, status, or relationships just to feel important? No. The strongest people are the ones who stand firm, no matter what they have or don't have. But society doesn't teach you that. It teaches you the opposite. It teaches you to need approval, to need luxury, to need constant reassurance. Because as long as you need, you stay weak. As long as you stay weak, someone else stays in control. So here's the challenge. Take a hard look at yourself. What are you clinging to? What are you afraid to lose? Because whatever that is, that's where your weakness lies. And until you let go, you will never be free. Who really controls your life? You might think you do, but let's break it down. If your happiness depends on people liking you, they own you. If your self-worth is tied to your job, your employer owns you. If you feel important only because of your car, your clothes, or your house, then those things own you. This is the trap most people never escape. They build their identity on things that can be taken away. And that's dangerous. Because the moment someone realizes what you need, they can use it against you. So let me ask you, who owns you? Your boss, your social circle? The brands you buy from? Or are you finally ready to own yourself? The truth is, real strength comes when you detach. When you stop being controlled by what people think. When you stop being owned by what you own. Because the less you need from the world, the more power you have over your own life. Strength isn't measured by how much you can hold on to. It's measured by what you can walk away from. The strongest people aren't those with the most money, status, or connections. They're the ones who can lose it all and still stand tall. The ones who don't beg, who don't cling, who don't need anything to define them. Think about it. If you can walk away from a toxic job, you're in control. If you can walk away from a relationship that no longer serves you, you're in control. If you can walk away from a life that isn't making you happy, you are in control. Most people stay stuck because they're afraid of losing comfort, security, or approval. But the truth is, real power comes from not fearing loss at all. So ask yourself, what are you afraid to walk away from? Because whatever that is, that's where your freedom begins. If you lost everything tomorrow, your job, your status, your possessions, who would you be? This is a question most people never ask themselves. Because the truth is, many have built their entire identity on what they own, what they do, or how others see them. But none of that is who you are. Strip it all away, and what's left? That's the real test. If you have to rely on external things to feel valuable, you're standing on shaky ground. Because nothing outside of you is permanent, and the sooner you realize that, the sooner you stop fearing loss. So I'll ask you again, who are you really? And if you don't like the answer, it's time to start building a version of yourself that isn't defined by things, but by something deeper. Here's the ultimate truth. Power doesn't come from what you have. It comes from what you can live without. The less you need approval, the freer you are. The less you need material wealth to feel important, the richer you are. The less you need external validation, the stronger you are. Because the moment you stop needing, you become untouchable. No one can pressure you. No one can manipulate you. No one can take away your peace. And that's real strength, not in clinging, but in letting go. So the choice is yours. You can keep chasing, keep depending, keep being owned by the things you think you need. Or you can let go, take your power back, and finally live on your terms. Because at the end of the day, freedom isn't about having more. It's about needing less. Picture two people, a billionaire and a monk. One has everything: mansions, cars, influence. The other owns nothing but the clothes on his back. Now ask yourself, who is harder to break? At first you might think the billionaire. After all, money means power, right? But look deeper. The billionaire has everything to lose. He wakes up with worries about his business, his reputation, his assets. He depends on his wealth to maintain his status, his lifestyle, and even his identity. One bad investment, one economic crash, and everything crumbles. Now the monk, what can you take from them? He owns nothing, fears nothing, and needs nothing. He is free from the weight of attachment. If everything disappeared tomorrow, he would remain the same. That is real strength. So let's be honest, are you free? Or are you just protecting what you're afraid to lose? Because if your peace depends on things outside of you, your job, your relationships, your possessions, you're not in control. The goal isn't to become a monk. It's to reach a level where no matter what happens, you remain unshaken. That is the true test of power. Detachment doesn't mean rejecting success. It means no longer being owned by it. Most people live their lives in quiet desperation, constantly seeking approval, money, security. But what if you stopped needing these things to feel worthy? What if you pursued success without being emotionally dependent on it? That is where real freedom begins. Here's how you do it. Stop seeking approval. If your confidence depends on what others think, you're not living for yourself, you're living for them. Start making decisions based on what feels right to you, not what impresses others. Redefine wealth. Money is a tool, not an identity. Use it, but don't let it define your value. If your happiness is tied to a number, you will never be satisfied. Detach from outcomes. Work hard, but don't let success or failure dictate your self-worth. When you learn to accept whatever comes your way without fear, you become unshakable. Freedom isn't about having nothing. It's about needing nothing. The less you depend on external things to feel secure, the more power you have over your own life. What if, for just 1 week, you stop chasing? Stop seeking approval. Stop trying to press. Stop controlling every outcome. Just be. Think about how much energy you spend trying to be like, trying to prove yourself, trying to fit into a mold that was never yours to begin with. Now imagine what would happen if you let all of that go even for a short time. This is your challenge for 1 week. Stop playing the game. When someone praises you, accept it, but don't depend on it. When something doesn't go your way, let it happen without stress. Stop running after things that don't bring real peace. By the end of the week, you'll notice something: the world didn't fall apart. You didn't lose yourself. In fact, you probably felt lighter, stronger. Because when you stop needing, you start living. Most people believe that having more will make them free. But the truth is, the less you need, the more control you have. Think about it. If you don't need validation, no one can make you feel small. If you don't need wealth to feel important, no financial loss can shake you. If you don't need a perfect relationship to feel whole, You will never fear being alone. Needing nothing doesn't mean having nothing. It means your happiness, your peace, your power come from within, not from the outside world. And when you reach that level, you become untouchable. Because the person who's strong with nothing, that's the person who truly has everything. The harder you chase something, the faster it runs. That's the irony of life, happiness, success. Love, these things don't come from desperation. They come when you let go of neediness and step into certainty. Have you ever noticed that the most confident people don't seek validation? That the wealthiest people don't obsess over money? That the happiest people aren't constantly searching for happiness? It's because they aren't chasing, they're attracting. When you stop needing, you create space for life to bring you what's meant for you. And when you let go of control, things start to flow in ways you never expected. So here's the question: what would happen if you stopped chasing? What would happen if instead of running after what you want, you trusted that what's meant for you will come? Try it. You might be surprised. History has proven this truth over and over. The most powerful people are those who do not fear loss. Look at warriors, leaders, thinkers, and self-made giants. The strongest ones weren't those who had the most, they were the ones who could walk away at any moment and still stand tall. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors, ruled an empire but lived as if he needed nothing. He believed that true strength was in mastering the mind, not in controlling the world. Bruce Lee, one of the most disciplined warriors, spoke of being like water flowing, adapting, unattached to any one form. Even in business, the most successful entrepreneurs are those who take risks without fear, who detach from failure, and who don't let success define them. What do they all have in common? They were not owned by anything, not wealth, not success, not fear. They mastered the art of detachment. And because of that, they mastered life. The world teaches you to look outside yourself for happiness, to seek approval, wealth, and status to feel valuable. But the truth, everything you've ever needed has been inside you this whole time. Strength, peace, confidence, they are already within you. You just have to stop looking in the wrong places. Imagine how life would change if you lived every day knowing you need nothing outside of yourself to be whole. If you woke up tomorrow and decided that nothing, no job, no relationship, no material thing had the power to shake you. That's not just an idea, that's a way of life. And once you start living like that, nothing will ever own you again. Everything you've heard today means nothing if you don't apply it. So here's the challenge tomorrow. Can you wake up and walk into the world needing nothing? Can you step into your day without seeking approval? Can you stop trying to control outcomes? Can you trust that you already have everything you need inside you? This is the real test. Because the moment you stop needing, you start owning your life. And when you reach that point when you can stand in any situation, any challenge and remain unshaken, that's when you've truly won. So ask yourself right now, are you ready to let go? Because the second you do, you become unstoppable. We've been told that power comes from having more money, more recognition, more control. But that's a lie. True power doesn't come from what you own, it comes from what you can walk away from. Think about the people who seem untouchable. Are they the ones desperate to prove themselves? The ones clinging to wealth, status, or approval? No, the strongest people are the ones who don't need anything to feel whole. When you don't need validation, you can speak your mind without fear. When you don't need wealth to feel important, you stop making desperate decisions. When you don't need a perfect life to be happy, you stop stressing over things that don't matter. The less you depend on the outside world, the more control you have over your own life. That's the secret. The people who know the most aren't the ones in charge, the people who need the least are. Because when nothing controls you, you control everything. So ask yourself, are you collecting things to feel powerful? Or are you stepping into the kind of power that nothing can take away? Every transformation begins with a decision, a choice to stop living by all rules and step into something new. Up until now, you may have been chasing things you thought would bring happiness. You may have been measuring your worth by your success, your possessions, or how people see you. But now you know the truth. None of those things make you free. They only keep you trapped. The real shift happens when you stop looking out for security and start realizing it comes from within. When you stop chasing, stop clinging, and stop believing the illusion that more will make you complete. This isn't about giving up on success, it's about not being owned by it. It's about moving through life without fear, knowing that no matter what happens, you will stand strong. So here's the challenge. Will you let this be just another idea you heard today? Or will you live it? Will you make detachment a way of life, not just a temporary experiment, but the foundation of real, unshakable freedom? Because once you make that choice, you'll never live the same way again. Here's the final truth. The second you stop needing, you start winning. When you stop needing approval, You move through the world with confidence. When you stop needing material things to feel secure, you become truly rich. When you stop needing everything to go your way, stress no longer controls you. Freedom doesn't come from getting more, it comes from letting go of the need for more. The moment you stop depending on the outside world to make you feel whole, you take your power back. So here's my challenge to you. Walk forward with nothing to prove, nothing to fear, nothing holding you back. Step into the world knowing that you are already enough, that nothing outside of you defines you. Because this is the beginning of real strength. This is the moment you stop chasing and start living.